I charged it at the house.
Okay. It should be Coventry Carol.
Do we have time? We have one more. 4 times. It's good.
Is your mic on?
Hello, hello. Hey, there I am. Good evening, everybody. Here's a song to take you back to childhood. Christmas time is here, happiness and cheer, fun for all that children call their favorite time of year. Snowflakes in the air, carols everywhere, olden times and ancient rhymes of love and dreams to share. Sleigh bells in the air, beauty everywhere. Yuletide by the fireside and joyful memories there. Christmas time is here, we'll be drawing near. Oh, that we could always see such spirit through the year. Sleigh bells in the air, beauty everywhere. Yuletide by the fireside and joyful memories there. Christmas time is here, we'll be drawing near. Oh, that we could always see such spirit through the year.
Thank you, thank you. It's wonderful to have you all with us, and Merry Christmas. We welcome you into this space. I have to say, I have tears in my eyes. Last year at this time, there was no one in this space. And since 1955, every single Christmas Eve there has been. And so both for our virtual family, and we know many of you decide to stay home tonight, and that's wonderful. And we're so grateful to see each other in person also. So we welcome you this evening as we gather with this opportunity to really allow the message of Christmas to move into our hearts, and for us to find a deeper meaning and a deeper understanding of who we are within this larger story. I'm Reverend Lisa Davis, the minister here at Unity of Portland, and we have the opportunity now. I want to say, Jack, I'm so glad you're back in this building where you were married decades ago, and so many others who haven't been in this space. We're so happy to see you and have you with us. You know, in just a moment, we're going to open in prayer. And I want to say the Hebrew word for prayer, slatha, has to do with this idea. It actually means setting a trap for God. And it's not begging or beseeching or hoping something happens. Instead, it's opening our mind wide enough, our hearts wide enough, that we literally set this trap or this container into which a deeper understanding flows. And so as we begin this service in prayer, I believe we have this sacred opportunity tonight to open our hearts to a larger understanding of who we are, of the message we came to share with the world, and all that we are to learn, to heal, and to know. So wherever you've been today or this week, anybody been busy, anybody been running around wondering what in the world's going to happen or what's happening here or there, I just invite you to move into your heart, to move into that space where that eternal knowledge of this presence and this power resides. And let's begin the service in prayer. Mother, Father, God, Infinite Spirit, we come together today in this space and around the globe with a willingness to open to a message for ourselves, for all of humanity, and the way that we have come to touch each other's lives. We don't come alone. Instead, we open to the realization that every one of us is a part of this larger whole. And for this opportunity to say yes to our path, we acknowledge that right where we are, it's perfect, it's whole, and it has all that we need for the healing this day. For all of those around this globe who find themselves hurting, in need, wondering what their next step is, we hold that space, that absolute space of spirit, supplying, filling, reminding each of us that we're the answers we seek to know. For this opportunity to gather, we say thank you, Infinite Spirit. And so it is. Amen. And so I just want to take a moment, and as we look at this evening, some of you have been to Unity services, some of you have not. If you're new to Unity, I wanted to share with you that one of the things we do here is we don't believe we're just celebrating something that happened 2,000 years ago. But instead, we believe that same birth, that same awakening is both the invitation, the eternal invitation of the universe to us, but that we're celebrating that happens within us. Every year, every day, we have that opportunity to open to that. And so during this holiday season, we've really been doing that. We've been opening to a larger story, a larger picture, and knowing that there's a message that's for each of us. During every Unity service, you see one candle lit that I heard it was the Christ candle. I understood that, and many of you grew up in Unity, understanding that the universal Christ presence, this presence that we acknowledge in every being, everywhere, it's the infinite divine presence. We have that lit because we say, yes, that presence is available. It's what moves us and shapes us. Tonight, we also lit another candle. And that candle is for all of those this year and in the past years who have moved on from this earthly plane. Just honoring the life and the divine and the light that they are, and recognizing that as humanity, we're learning to open to a larger story and a larger understanding. So I wanted to share with you, and my invitation to each person here tonight is to say, what does this say to me? What's the path I'm to learn and to follow and to know? And I wanted to share with you that we will be having services as of now on Sunday, December 26th in here. We'll be working with Kwanzaa and some other pieces. If for some reason there is snow and we're not in this space, we will be on Facebook and YouTube. Our next special service is Friday, December 31st, where we actually do a burning bowl and we let go of all that. Anybody have anything you don't want to go into the next year with? Anybody? Well, a few of us might. Well, that's what we're going to do, is let that go and set our intentions for the new year. And so what a blessing that is. And I wanted to take a moment and welcome any of you who are here for the first time. If you haven't been here in a long time or you're here for the first time, I'd invite you to get a welcome packet. Some of you got them when you came in, I know, just to fill these out. You can turn it in on your way out, or there's offering baskets there, and you can leave them on the table so that you can be on our list and we can support you. I wanted to also just say, anybody here for the first time, will you raise your hand? We're just saying hello, and it's good to see you. Wonderful. We're happy to have you. Don't worry, you don't have to do anything else. That's all you have to do. I also wanted to let you know, if this community works for you, I would encourage you to become a part. One of the things we're realizing is we can't do it by ourselves. And we're not separate beings. Instead, it's important to find a place that supports you in your spiritual growth. Also, if this community does not work for you, I would encourage you to find a community that does, to keep seeking until you find something that says, yes, this is who I am, and this is where I can be a part of making a difference. So we are going to sing. Yes. We are going to stand and sing Yes with masks on. All right, Joy to the World.
We've got Joy to the World with a little affirmation between the verses for us to sing. You'll catch on to it. I'm feeling joy, 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 joy. I'm feeling joy, 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 joy. Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare the room, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing. I'm seeing joy, 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 joy. I'm seeing joy, 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 joy. Love rules the world with truth and grace, and makes the nations prove the glories of this righteousness, and wonders of this love, and wonders of this love, and wonders, wonders of this love. I'm knowing joy, 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 joy. I'm knowing joy, 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 joy. I'm knowing joy, 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 joy. I'm knowing joy, 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 joy.
All right. And I just invite you for a moment to just turn around and look at the eyes. You can't see much else, but the eyes of humanity around you. We never walk this journey alone. All right.
are singing, fill the air everywhere. Now with joy is ringing. Oh, my heart, this night rejoices as I hear far and near sweetest angel voices. Love is here, the choirs are singing, fill the air everywhere. Now with joy is ringing.
Thank you, thank you. You know, as we celebrate this night and Christmas itself, we get to look at a deeper meaning of what it means for us. But you know, during this time of year, there's anywhere I've heard between 28 and 40 other religious ceremonies, these holidays. It starts, I think the earliest one that I know of is Diwali, and this is between November and January 6th. So Diwali, the Hindu festival of light, this idea of this light happens November 5th, I believe it was this year. And you move through, I mean, there's Hanukkah, there's all these different ideas, but all of them add light. Every one of them adds light, which light has always meant consciousness. It's meant awareness. It's meant a deeper understanding. In this tradition, as we look at these ideas, we celebrate Advent. And Advent is adding light every week. It's like it's a preparation. Some of you may have grown up with that. Some of you may never have heard of it before. But the idea was to add the light. So what we've been doing here is saying, what does that mean? We started with the light of hope. And this idea of hope, which, by the way, the word that's translated in the Bible, so I add light. We'll see how this goes. And Alan, I'm going to let you light the rest of them. So we'll see how that goes. But hope, as it was that, so the archaic meaning of it, the word that was translated from Jesus' time in Aramaic, actually means trust. Can we trust in the universe, in this journey, in this process, in ourselves? And so we added a light for this idea of hope. And then we moved to peace. Sometimes it's really hard to slow down enough, to breathe enough, to say, oh, there's a peace that passes understanding. If you haven't done that lately, with all that's happening on this planet, I invite you to open your heart to the idea of peace. The third one we did was love. Now, love is a healing, harmonizing principle that takes us beyond any ideas of smallness we've ever had. Love is an opening and an awakening to a larger understanding of who we are, of what the universe is. We've often said that this quantum field that we live and move and have our being in, God, is love. It's just one quantum field, and that's who we are. And this last week, we added the word joy. Now, Pierre Teilhard de Chardin said that joy is an ever-increasing awareness of the presence of God. We delight in life. We delight in what's present. I also thought it was interesting to read Anthony DeMello said, there's only one reason why you are not experiencing bliss at this present moment, and it's because you are thinking or focusing on what you do not have. Anybody done that lately? On what we don't have? He said it's impossible not to experience joy when we focus on what we do have. So making that shift is such an important part of this journey. In just a moment, you're going to hear one of the beautiful songs that you grew up with in your holidays, I'm sure, if you grew up in this tradition. And it's O Holy Night. And I just invite you, as you listen to the words, to remember this whole story is a story of a people, Christmas. It's a story of a journey, just like every other tradition has their story of a people. When we hear these old words, you may love them. You may say, oh, I don't want to hear that. It's Lord or King or God, or it has different words that you may not want to use. But know this, there's a cellular memory that has these ideas in it. So as you hear this, I just invite you to remember it's the story of a people, of a birth and an awakening and an idea of love.
Holy night, the stars are brightly shining. It is the night of our dear Savior's birth. Long lay the world in sin and error pining, till He appeared, and the soul felt its worth. A thrill of hope, the weary world rejoices, for yonder breaks a new and glorious morn. Fall on your knees, oh, hear the angel voices. Oh, night divine, oh, night when Christ was born. Oh, night divine, oh, night divine. Truly He taught us to love one another. His law is love, and His gospel is peace. Chains shall He break, for the slave is our brother, and in His name all oppression shall cease. Sweet hymns of joy in grateful chorus raise, we let all within us praise His holy name. Fall on your knees, oh, hear the angel voices. Oh, night divine, oh, night when Christ was born. Oh, night divine, oh, night, oh, night
Thank you, thank you. I appreciate that, thank you. So O Holy Night is probably one of the most sung Christmas carols, most often sung Christmas carols, but I don't know if you're aware of some of the background. In 1843, a French poet and a wine merchant named Placide Cappeño was commissioned to write that. What was interesting is he was an atheist. And so when the word got out that he was an atheist, and the one who wrote the music was a Jewish composer named Adolphe Adams, then the song was already a hit in France, where it was first written, but it wasn't allowed to come to the United States, and it had ideas that were a little too broad, such as the slave is our brother. And so it finally was brought over to the United States by a Unitarian Universalist, a Unitarian minister who was an abolitionist. And he said, "This is our song." And he renamed it, "O Holy Night." And he began saying, that is the night. That is the time of enlightenment when we can see a bigger picture. You may have noticed right now that humanity is being asked to see a bigger picture, to open to new ideas and new ways and new understandings. And so I just invite you to take that idea of "Oh, Holy Night" and realize that the meanings that are there are still available to us and can still move us and remind us that there's more for us to learn and to expand and to know and to be a part of. And when we talked about this story is our story, sometimes it's just like, can we just get presents wrapped and under the tree? Or at least you may not be that way. I sometimes am. It's like, okay, can I get this? Can I get this? Can I get this? Can I get this done? And we forget that in every tradition, these stories tell the story of a people and of a shift that happens, whether it's the 8 days of light during Hanukkah, or it's this time right now where this birth happens that is miraculous. But what they do and what Carl Jung talks about is every part of the story is a part of us. And that's how you can look at every spiritual tradition. And you can say, what does that mean to me? So we have this story of the essence of this birth happening. But if that part of us is a birth, my first question to each of us here is, what's asking to be born in us tonight? What's asking to be born in us right now in our lifetime, during this time? And you know, Ram Dass said, "I take the assumption that every religion has been rooted in some mystical or transcendent experience. From that assumption, I look at all the different systems as metaphors or doorways to God or the infinite." And so when we look at this story and we start with Mary and Joseph, and we've talked through this. If you're here on Sundays, we do this a lot during this time of the year, because Mary is the thinking nature and Joseph is the feeling nature. And that's true for any of these ancient stories, but they come together and something larger is created. And of course, Mary says, "Nope, not me. I'm not doing this." And I have a feeling a few of us right now in our lives are saying, "No, not me." And then they move into this journey from Nazareth to Bethlehem. Nazareth in Hebrew means ordinary, not complete, sometimes less than. How could anything good come out of Nazareth? That was the idea, because each city in Hebrew has a meaning. Bethlehem means house of the living. The invitation to us tonight is to go from where we are to the house of the living. Maybe it's an old wound that we just say, this no longer will bind me. I'm no longer going to believe that story about who I am or what I am or where I go. And of course, my donkey stays here most of Christmas because they go on a donkey. And if you haven't seen it, I will lift it up. This little guy here, donkeys, of course, are untrainable. They are unmanageable. You cannot make them do what you do. And that's the trip we're taking to the house of the living. So if you've got anything unmanageable that will not respond to what you want, that's the place, that's the story, that's the opening. And they get to Bethlehem and there's no room. How many of us, again, these are all parts of ourselves. So we have Bethlehem, we have the house of the living, but when they come, there's no room in the inn. Now, inns at those times, it was wall-to-wall bodies. It was noise. This was not like you get one room and you get one room. It's like, do you have a corner? And everybody was on the rooftops. They were everywhere. And so that idea of having room, Joseph, the thinking nature, finally said, I have to find some place where there's room. In our hearts, we have to find some place where there's room for answers, where there's room for belief, where there's room to understand that we're living an evolutionary journey for all of humanity. And we're in one of those tough places where people will look back centuries later and say, wow, look what they did. Look what they had to do. This wasn't much fun, but we're all a part of it. The manger, I think it's interesting they go into nature. It was probably in a cave, not in a little lean-to, because that's mostly what they were at that time. But they go into where there's nature, there's a lot more quiet, even though I'm sure there's lots of smells and lots of animals and lots of other things. The manger represents the heart. That idea, that birthing, that new part of ourselves gets to be born in our heart space. Our head can think through all the pieces, but somewhere in there, there's an inner cellular knowing that says, this is your journey. You're here for this. And you have what it takes to birth this new idea, to birth a larger understanding, to find a way that when we may have hit the wall, how many of us have old things hanging around that we have hit that wall over and over and over again? Okay, we have 2 people. That's good. A few of us do. And it's like we've done that. We've gone that far. Now it's the invitation of open to the journey, open to something more. How do we do that? Where it's too crowded, usually that means we haven't gotten quiet enough to find the manger, to find the heart. We will be guided. We will know what to do. And when we do, it becomes the realization that every one of us came to birth something new. Every one of us came to be first of all, to be in the house of the living. We did not come to live a quiet desperation. We came to let go of that which binds us and to find something larger. And I find that means finding peace. Paul Farini said the choice between love and fear is made every moment in our hearts and our minds, and that's where the peace process begins. Many of us think we can't have peace in our hearts in that manger for that birth to happen because there's too much going on out there. There is a lot of discord. There is a lot of change. But where those ideas of who we are and what we're to do come from is in the manger, where it's quiet, where we have space, and something more happens. Howard Thurman was the minister that I know. He was the minister to ministers, including Martin Luther King. He carried his book. Oh, what was his book's name? It was wonderful, and I can't even tell you what it was. It was Displaced Christians, I believe is what, and I'm not telling you the right name, but it is, I will find out what it is. Anyway, his book that Martin Luther King carried around for so long, what Howard Thurman kept saying was that light's within you. It's within every being. And if we ever thought that this essence that was birthed 2,000 years ago said anything, but every being is whole, the kingdom is within every being, we're wrong. And any place where we've gone down that path, we have to go back again and try something larger. He said, there is something in every one of you that waits and listens for the sounds of the genuine in yourself. Not the stuff that says I'm not enough, or I can't do this, or this isn't possible. It is the only true guide that you will ever have. And if you cannot hear it, you will all your life spend your days on the end of strings that somebody else pulls. There comes a point where we get to go to that place, that sacred place. And the word that was translated as peace, it was the Jewish word shalom. What it actually means is something different. It means nothing missing, nothing wrong. What would happen if we left here in peace, knowing that there's nothing missing and there's nothing wrong in life right where it is? That's a tough one sometimes. But when we have that, then we can see the larger picture. And this piece, and by the way, the word in Hebrew meant completeness, soundness, welfare. From the stem of the root, the word was shalom, and it just meant complete. So nothing missing, nothing wrong. And so as we find a peace that passes all understanding, that's the peace that says, I may not understand why I'm right here. I may not even like it, but I'm going to trust that there's nothing missing, nothing wrong, and my journey is to birth whatever the next piece is. I don't know about you, but I'd like all the answers right now, and I'd like them in a list, 1 through 10. Anybody want that? Anybody ready for those answers? What I believe is that we get to learn that the answers come when we take one step, maybe in the scariest place we are, but we have the ability to believe. One of the people that I've been looking at, because when I say it's our story, I think we can find the Christmas story, that birthing something new, every time somebody has the courage to give up the old ideas of what they believe about themselves and to find something more. And one of my heroes right now is Maggie Walker. I don't know if any of you have heard of her. She was born in 1864 at the turn, obviously, and she was a female executive by the turn of the century, but she was born to enslaved parents on July 15th, 1864 in Richmond, Virginia. There wasn't much hope for what she could do or be when she was growing up. Her mother, after the Civil War, worked as a laundress, and her father was a butler in the Richmond Hotel there in Virginia. And he was killed. He was murdered later on. And she said, I came to make life for women, black women, better. And she had the courage to believe that. I'd like to know, how does she believe that when her world wasn't telling her that? She actually began gathering people together. She joined the Independent Order of St. Luke's, an African-American benevolent organization that helped the sick and the elderly in Richmond. And they began putting their energy together and their forces together. And she was the first owner. She began the first bank that a woman in the United States had ever made. That bank is still operating today. They said that what she did, and she called it the Bank of Pennies, because she wasn't saying, oh, we're going to have millions and millions, but she said, if we put what we have together, we'll have enough. And literally that bank grew as the African-American community around her began gathering and believing and building a larger story, a larger idea. She went on to, she was a part of the NAACP. She was a part of the founding of many different organizations. She served as the vice president for the NAACP and so many other ideas. But what I love is the courage that it takes to say, I may be here right now, but you can never tell me that I can't do whatever my heart desires if I'm willing to hold a space. So what we're all doing right now is setting that trap for a birthing of something more. All of humanity is being asked to see a larger picture, to know a larger idea. And I would just invite you to say, what's the invitation to me? To love myself? To forgive the stuff that seemed unforgivable? To walk a journey that I may not even know where it goes, but I trust that will always take me where I need to go. And I just say, all of us came here to live this story, to be a part of that story, and to know that Bethlehem, the house of the living, is waiting for us this evening. So we are going to do our offering in just a moment. And I thank you because we're going to move into our candle lighting. And the opportunity then to take that light into our hearts and say, we're the ones who have that awareness. We're the ones who can birth that larger story. We can't do it alone. We do it together. As Ram Dass said, we're only just walking each other home, and I continue to hold that space. So if you would like to share your offering, it's all done virtually now, or much of it is. There's baskets by the back door. We're not going to collect an offering tonight. You can go ahead and there's several different ways. You can go online and put ways to give. You can text to 833-814-3477. You can send a check into Unity of Portland, or you can leave one as you go. But I just want us to recognize that we want to do this now before we move into the candle lighting, but just to know that the sacred journey we're on always will remind us that we're whole if we allow our hearts to know this and to say this. And so I'm going to hold my offering in my hands. And I just invite you, whatever that is, to hold it in your hands and your hearts, and to know that divine love, as you, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. We are so blessed to be in this place at this time. And so it is.
Let's celebrate peace.
Celebrate peace.
Let's celebrate love.
Celebrate love.
Let's celebrate light that shines. Shine, shine, shine. Let's celebrate faith.
Celebrate faith.
Let's celebrate hope.
Celebrate hope.
Let's celebrate joy. Oh, joy in our hearts. Let's celebrate peace.
Celebrate peace.
Let's celebrate love.
Celebrate love.
Let's celebrate light that shines. Shine, shine, shine. Let's celebrate faith.
Celebrate faith.
Let's celebrate hope.
Celebrate hope.
Let's celebrate joy. Oh, joy in our hearts. Yeah, we're celebrating joy. Joy, joy, joy. Every day is a choice to show some kindness. We're all a part of one family, so connected, our hearts and spirits. I reach out for you, you reach out for me. Yeah. Peace for all seasons, love every moment, light shines wherever we are. Faith in the darkness, hope in the silence, joy, 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 joy in our hearts. Oh, we're celebrating joy in our hearts. Yeah, yeah. Well, now is the time to come together, to count our blessings. We are grateful, yeah. We lift our voices in one chorus. My brothers, my sisters, let's celebrate, yeah. Peace for all seasons, love every moment, light shines wherever we are. Faith in the darkness and hope in the silence, joy, joy in our hearts. We're gonna celebrate, won't you sing with us? Yeah, we're celebrating joy. Let's celebrate peace.
Celebrate peace.
Let's celebrate love.
Celebrate love.
Let's celebrate light that shines. Shine, shine, shine. Let's celebrate faith.
Celebrate faith.
Let's celebrate hope.
Celebrate hope.
Let's celebrate joy. Oh, joy in our hearts. Let's celebrate peace.
Celebrate peace.
Let's celebrate love.
Celebrate love.
Let's celebrate light that shines. Shine, shine, shine. Let's celebrate faith.
Celebrate faith.
Let's celebrate hope.
Celebrate hope.
Let's celebrate joy in our hearts. Let's celebrate joy. Oh, joy in our hearts. Let's celebrate joy. Oh, joy in our hearts. Let's celebrate joy. Oh, joy in our hearts.
Wow. Thank you, thank you. I appreciate you all. You know, in just a moment, we're going to be doing our candle lighting. So first of all, does everyone have a candle? Let me ask that. If you don't, raise your hand and they will get you one. Anybody need a candle? Do you all want candles? So. Yeah.
They're down there.
Okay, why don't you go get candles, and then I'm just going to talk about it for a moment. Each of you received a candle when you came in, and I'd invite you to take your blessing off of it. I don't believe there's any mistakes or any other things, and these blessings can have so much, they always teach me something. I often use the example that when I was doing a candle lighting service, my first, that I had 2 hours notice that I was going to be doing it in Dayton, Ohio. I was not ordained, I was not a minister, but the minister was sick and they said, it's you. My blessing was, I will be thy mouth and teach thee what thou shalt say. And I just thought, wow, the universe has both a sense of humor and a path that's truly there for us to do. And so this ritual of candle lighting, and please know, around the world there's being candles lit tonight. And it's a sacred, sacred opportunity because, you know, wherever we add our energy, and we know this with quantum physics, wherever we put our energy in, literally something larger is created. And so I believe when we do this, we're honoring a birth that happened 2,000 years ago. Please know, Jesus was a social activist. He taught inclusion. He taught forgiveness. He taught love. He taught that there was a light in every being. I mean, so any other message you have ever gotten, personally, it's not a message I agree with or believe in, and New Thought does not, but that one you get to look at. So that's sacred birth. People saw something in those ideas that said, whoa, there's something larger here. We do that tonight for ourselves in this room, because that same essence is in you. It's in every one of us. And most of us grew up, all of us grew up in this country with someone saying, you're not enough. You're not this. You may be called this or this or this. And so recognize as we light this, it's a ritual that we get to say, I am that light. That light that's there, that's who I am. And I have the ability to share it, to expand, to open to something more. And so as your candle is lit, I would invite you to take a moment to acknowledge that light and to both know it's in you, and then we're going to come down the aisles, and you're going to get to pass it on if you're able to. If you're not, you'll get it from a neighbor somewhere else. If you can't get up and move, we'll make sure that everyone gets their candle lit. But recognize we came to pass it on. We never are alone. Even though it can feel like it, we're never by ourselves. We don't heal humanity by ourselves. And so the way we do it is literally to pass it on. And so to me, I believe it's a sacred opportunity to truly open to something larger. So I'm going to have Susie come down here. And we are going to go on the outside of the rows. But I want to show you something because we really don't want to do a forgiveness service either. So I'm lighting this, hopefully, well, I'm doing it from here. I'm lighting this candle. When you go to light your candle, if you have the unlit candle, please tilt it to the one with a light, because we have these nice protectors here so that no one goes home with wax on them. That's why we would rather have it done that way, okay? Are we gonna, yes.
Silent night, holy night, all is calm. round yon virgin mother and child, holy infant, so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace, sleep in heavenly peace. Silent night, holy night, shepherds quake at the sight, glory streams from heaven afar, heavenly hosts sing hallelujah. Love our Savior is here. Love our Savior is here. Silent night, holy night, darkness flies, see the light, shining love in thy holy face, with the dawn of redeeming grace, love and light of the world, love and light of the world.
And I just invite you to raise it up for a moment. If you ever wonder if there's enough light, just look around you. Every one of us has that full light within us. And when we say, what do? We know we shine our light. We allow ourselves not to shut down, but instead to know that that light is always there, always available. And I would just invite you, if you haven't yet acknowledged that the light is within you, just take a moment and take that light into your heart, into that remembering. And we're going to sing Silent Night one more time.
Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round yon virgin mother and child, holy infant, so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace, sleep in heavenly peace.
I want to say, if the world ever feels like it's dark and you don't know what to do, just remember this room, this candle, this knowing that that same light is not only within our hearts, but in the heart of every being everywhere, that divine aspect of the infinite. And I just invite you, when you're ready, you can blow it out. But remember to take it into your heart, into that manger, that's calling out to birth the largest part of yourself. Let's finish with Silent Night one more time.
Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is right, round yon virgin mother and child, holy infant, so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace, sleep in heavenly peace, sleep in heavenly
You truly are blessed. Just as you are ready, blow it out. And I have a reading for you. This was written in 1513, so it's a little old. And we're going to end with this and then a short prayer, but by Father Giovanni, and he wrote it to the future. And it's one of my favorite pieces that reminds me of this. He said, to you, and it was written on Christmas Eve in 1513. To you on this day I salute you. I am your friend, and my love for you goes deep. There is nothing I can give you which you have not. But there is much, very much, that while I cannot give it, you can take. No heaven can come to us unless our hearts find rest in it today. Take heaven. No peace lies in the future, which is not hidden in this present little instant. Take peace. The gloom of the world is but a shadow. Behind it, yet within our reach, is joy. There is radiance and glory in darkness, could we but see. And to see, we have only to look. I beseech you to look. Life is so generous a giver, but we, judging its gifts by their covering, cast them away as ugly or heavy or hard. Remove the covering, and you will find beneath it a living splendor, woven of love by wisdom with power. Welcome it, grasp it, and you touch the angel's hand that brings it to you. Everything we call a trial, a sorrow, or a duty, believe me, that angel's hand is there in it. The gift is there, and the wonder of an overshadowing presence. Your joys, too, be not content with them as joys. They, too, conceal diviner gifts. Life is so full of meaning and purpose, so full of beauty beneath its covering, that you will find earth but cloaks your heaven. Courage, then, to claim it, that is all. But courage you have, and the knowledge that we are pilgrims together, wending through unknown country home. And so at this time I greet you, not quite as the world sends greetings, but with profound esteem and with a prayer that for you, now and forever, the day breaks and the shadows flee away. Take love. And I just say to each of you, take love, take peace, take joy, and know it's the truth of who you are. It's your sacred story. And we're going to close this service with a unity prayer. And hopefully we'll bring up the light so you can walk out in light. Take light. And this is a prayer that Unity has used for many, many years. And it's simply, the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. and all is well. And I say Merry Christmas. Thank you. Thank you.